Well, hello everyone. This is Rosetta, and welcome to Generations Bible Study. And today I am coming on saying thank God for Pentecostal Sunday. Throughout the churches all across the country, everywhere throughout the United States, churches are celebrating or have celebrated Pentecostal Sunday, which is today, June the 9th. 2019. I want to take us back to the 1900s. But today, June the 9th, 2019, is what we call Pentecostal Sunday. And it's based on the day of Pentecost in the Bible, in the book of Acts, 2nd chapter, beginning at verse 1. And the whole chapter is dealing with the speaking of the Galatians being filled with the Holy Ghost. Did I say Galatians? I'm sorry, the Galileans. Galileans being filled with the Holy Ghost. I think it's the same group of people, but and it reads, starting at verse 1, and when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them clover tongues like as a fire, and is set upon each of them. Now, Pentecost is the event that happened right after Jesus had risen from the dead. Jesus was telling his disciples, he told his disciples that Pentecost would come and that a helper will come, being in the form of the Holy Ghost, okay? And the point of being filled with the Holy Ghost is so that we can have the power to conquer evil and also to be a witness throughout the world. That's really the purpose of being filled with the Holy Ghost. To make sure we fulfill the Go Ye commission, or the Go Ye commandment. Go ye and be witnesses of me throughout the world. And so after Jesus told the disciples about Pentecost, he then ascended up in heaven. And this was on the day that they came together in a place, it reads that, and let me see, this is verse 4, and they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with, I'm going to turn the page, and they began to speak with, I got a sticky page here, sorry about that. And they began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. Wow, isn't that something? The fulfillment of the Holy Ghost came to pass and is yet coming to pass even until this day. People are being filled with the Holy Ghost. And once you really get filled with the Holy Ghost and you actually do speak in other tongues or in other languages, your life does change. You will not be the same once you get filled with the Holy Ghost. And let's read verse number 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Now when this was noised about the filling of the Holy Ghost, the multitude came together and were confounded. They were confounded. Meaning that they was confused or they had questions because that every man heard them speak in his own language, meaning that For those who were not being filled of the Holy Ghost, it might have been Jewish people, it might have been Arabs, it might have been Indians, whoever came to see what was going on that day. The people that were being filled with the Holy Ghost were speaking in that devout Jewish person, devout Arab, Indian, was speaking in their language, and they were. That's caused them to scratch their heads. So how can these I'm going to say Galatians, but they're called Galileans. I'm sorry, Galileans. How can they speak in our language? They don't know our language. And see, then verse 7, it says, and they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Isn't that amazing? Here the people, the Galileans, were being filled with the Holy Ghost, speaking in other languages that the people that stood around of the various races understood. Isn't that's just God? That's amazing. That's amazing. The Galileans didn't know how to speak what the Arabs spoke in the natural tongue, but in the power of the Holy Ghost, the translation of what was being said in the tongues, the people around understood. So it's really a blessing. It's really a gift. It's really something we should treasure as born-again believers, being filled with the Holy Ghost. And remember, you're not being filled just to sit aside and do nothing, as we say, but you're being filled to encourage somebody else. You're being filled with the Holy Ghost to be a witness to somebody else. You're being filled to have that power and authority to destroy and to break the powers of evil. Being filled with the Holy Ghost is very important, especially in this day that we live in, because we face so much. So my question to you is, have you been filled with the Holy Ghost? Have you been filled? God bless you. This has been Rosetta coming to you from Chicago. And I'm saying thank you for watching and listening to this video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you like. And remember the question, have you been filled with the Holy Ghost? God bless you. Have a good one.